everyone, welcome to day 10 of Vlogmas. My name's Annette and this is Cottoverdi, and it is another miserable December day outside. It's pouring with rain, so we're indoors again, and today I wanted to make a moss ball that I'm going to cover with succulents, and I think it's going to look really Christmassy and festive because it's going to have the red and the green elements to it, and it just is like a really natural thing to be able to either have out in your garden if it's warm enough or indoors, and it just brings nature in. So I love to do this type of thing at this time of year. So it's really simple and easy. It may look complicated and you can do it in any vessel that you like. I'm going to be using an urn today, but you could do it in just like a little bowl that you have, maybe a gold bowl or something like that, or a wooden bowl. You can do it in anything at all. You could even do it on a platter, because actually what we're going to use to form the base is chicken wire, so you can make it any shape that you like. Anyway, I'm just going to show you how I do this. Hopefully it will be fun and interesting and maybe something you'd like to try yourself. So as I said, I'm going to be using an urn, and I'm going to be making my moss ball on top of this urn. And then I've got some moss here. This is just sheet moss that I order from my florist, and it's really lovely stuff, very easy to work with. And then I've got a couple of succulents. I've been propagating these ones here. This one is just something that I have in my kitchen. And then I've got some 24 gauge wire here on a paddle. And I've also got some lengths of 24 gauge wire. So I just happen to have these because I made my daughter-in-law's bridal bouquet this year, and it's quite handy just to have some lengths cut. So I've got some snips in case I need them for the moss or the succulents. I've got some little wire cutters, and I've got two pokey tools, and I'll show you why we need these later. And then also I do have some chicken wire here, and that's all I need. So you could actually make this arrangement without chicken wire, but it would use more moss, and I don't want to do that. So I want to reserve my moss for other projects. So I'm going to use chicken wire as a base. So I've cut myself a square of chicken wire, and I'm just going to kind of make it into a ball by squeezing it, but I want some of it to poke down into the base of my container so that I can anchor it somehow. So there we go. That's kind of round. And now all that I'm going to do is cover this with moss. And I'm going to use the paddle wire to sort of tie it on. So I want to anchor my paddle wire here. And I kind of want to tuck it in to make it into a mound. I think I might put a little bit underneath here to make it higher. And then wrap it round like this. So that's what I'm aiming for. So I'm going to take my paddle wire and just sort of mold it into shape as I go round. And I'm kind of tucking it in underneath so it looks like a little ball. And then I'm going to cut my wire and tie it off against some wire that I've already got round there. So just loop it round like this. And the benefit of this 24 gauge wire is that on the moss you can hardly see it because it's nice and thin. So it's just not really visible. And then I'm just pushing my moss in underneath like this because I want to make it look a bit like a cushion. And then all we need to do from this stage is just select some succulents. I actually just want to bury them up to the stem. So I only want a little bit of a stem. And then there are a couple of methods you can choose. So you could use a chopstick to make a hole in the top, or you could use a dibber to make a hole in the top, or wherever. So just choose a spot and then push your succulent in. That one's a little bit damaged actually, I don't want that one on the top. I'm going to put this one on the bottom. So again, I'm going to make a hole with the chopstick and then push my succulent into that hole. If I feel when I'm putting it into the side that it's maybe not going to be as secure as I want it to be, what I will do is use some wire to anchor it into place. So I'm going to poke a hole with my chopstick and push the stalk into that space and then use the wire. Oh, I'm losing a few leaves, that's fine because I'll propagate from those. And then just use the wire and thread it into the moss ball. Right, let's find a prettier one of these. So this one's quite pretty. I'm going to put this one on the top. And actually that can just go in the hole that I made earlier. The other thing that I quite like to do is sort of decorate it because it's kind of, you know, mossy. It's nice to decorate it with little pine cones. And what I do to lighten up the pine cones is I bleach them. And I'll show you how to do that in a separate video. And if you have any feathers in your garden, you can use feathers as well to decorate it. Or, you know, little bits of bark. It's harder to get the bark to stick. And obviously with the pine cones, those can be wired in as well to stop them falling off. So just find a spot to sort of wrap the wire around like that. Even just old mossy twigs are nice to lay on the top. I'm not happy with that. Now with the moss does not need to be watered. It will survive for quite a few weeks on its own. In fact, it could just dry out. And the succulents at this time of year don't need watering at all. And in fact, because I've just cut some of them, they need to sort of callus over anyway. So this, even though it's alive, does not need watering, which is amazing. And I think so useful. One less thing to have to water. So that's it. I've made my moss succulent urn. I hope you like it as much as I do. I think it's gorgeous and so, like, it really brings the garden indoors at this time of year. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today and had fun with me whilst I created this masterpiece. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow.